So, as you know, the original trilogy is, of course, a trilogy. And it consists of a first, second, and third movie. And here we are, my friends, at the last Star Wars movie to ever be made in 1983. Star Wars Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. So it's been 3 years again since the events of Empire Strikes Back. Actually, maybe it hasn't been. Well, I don't know. They got pretty far in the production of that Death Star, so it probably has been about 3 years again. And Han is still frozen and in possession of Jabba the Hutt because Jabba was the one who put the bounty on him originally. And not to worry, though. The good guys have a plan to break him out. All they have to do is have Lando infiltrate the Hutt's place first and, like, get in with the guards and become one of them. And then after that, Leia goes in there. And, no. After that, C-3PO and R2-D2 go in there and they bring a message from Luke where he's like, as a peace offering, I would like Han Solo back, but I will give you these 2 droids. And of course, Jabba doesn't give Han back, but he takes the droids anyway. Then Leia goes in there and tries to just break him out, but she's disguised as a bounty hunter. And she kisses Han, blah, 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 blah. Han's got carbonite blindness or whatever it's called. And then she gets captured and forced to wear a golden bikini, which is probably one of my favorite parts of the movie. And then Luke goes in, but he doesn't arm himself. He just goes in to peacefully negotiate. But then he's like, "Oh, you're gonna walk the plank. We're gonna have you fall in the Sarlacc pit." This is on Tatooine, by the way. And then out of nowhere, Luke's like, "All right, here's a signal," and then R2-D2 goes, and then he's got the lightsaber, which is green now. He built himself a new lightsaber because the one that he had at the end of the Empire Strikes Back is lost. It's gone. Doesn't exist anymore. But then everybody does their fighting, and Boba Fett dies for no reason, and then they all escape. Very simple plan. Trust me. Very, very simple. After that, though, Leia and Han are like, well, we need to go back with the rebels because there's something going on. We need to investigate. Han doesn't know about the new Death Star yet, but he finds out, and it's like, okay, well, we need to go into the Death Star this time and blow it up. We can't just go around it and blow it up. Still the same critical design flaw, though. But, what's his name? Luke goes back to Dagobah because he wants to confront Yoda about, like, is Vader really my father? And then Yoda's like, to finish your Jedi training, you must defeat your father. And he's like, well, the last time we talked about this, he told me that I couldn't fight him because he was going to whoop my ass, and he did. But you know what? Yoda's very wise, so he decides to die. Right then and there, he just becomes one with the Force. And then Obi-Wan's Force Ghost shows up, and he's like, from a certain point of view, I wasn't lying about Vader killing your father because Vader is a monster and Anakin was a man and blah, 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 blah. So I wonder, I mean, Luke's obviously stronger here than he was previously. So how did he train? Did he train with Obi-Wan's Force Ghost or did he train by himself? Because I don't think he went back to Dagobah because he would have asked Yoda about his father way sooner than now. So he couldn't have gone back there to finish his training. I don't know. But Luke makes the decision that he will confront Vader, but he will not kill Vader. So he goes to the planning session with the rebels while they come up with what to do about the Death Star. And so he's like, I'm joining the mission, blah, blah, blah. So they all go to the Forest Moon of Endor, which has the control station for the Death Star, which is information that they got from the Empire. So I don't know why they didn't, like, set a trap. But on the Forest Moon of Endor, there's this cute little native species called Ewoks. They're like bears. And they capture the good guys for a while. Then everything's fine. Then they help the good guys fight the Empire. And then Luke goes up to the Death Star with Darth Vader because I guess there's like a super elevator. I never really thought about that. But they just take the elevator to heaven and they go to the Death Star. Wow. But Luke gets all tsundere and he's like, oh, you're not gonna, I'm not gonna fight you, Father. There's still good in you. I will summon it. I'll bring you back to the light side now that I know that you used to be the Jedi. And then Palpatine's like, you will bend to my will. I'm so good at explaining movies. And then Luke's like, no, I won't. And then he's like, well, your friends are out there getting marked by the Empire, so gonna have to do something. And then he's mad. He's like, and then the Palpatine's like, strike me down in anger, and your path to the dark side will be complete. And so he's like, all right, cool. So he strikes his lightsaber, goes to kill the Emperor, and then Vader blocks the blade, which there's a theory going out now that he didn't do it to protect Palpatine, but to protect Luke from making that same critical mistake that he made back in Episode 3 that begins him on the path of turning to the dark side. Great stuff, right? So then they fight, and then Luke gives into his anger and he nearly kills Vader. And then he cuts his hand off and he sees the mechanical bits and pieces. And then Luke looks at his own hand and he's like, oh, me and my father were the same. I'm not gonna kill him. I'm gonna stand my ground. I'm gonna bring him back to the light side. And then Palpatine's like, ah, with lightning out of nowhere. It's like 40 minutes left in the third movie of the trilogy. New superpower? Yes. And then, while he's torturing Luke and he's about to kill him, Vader picks him up and he throws him over the railing and he falls directly into the reactor core within the Death Star, which, I mean, maybe they should put like a lid on that next time. And Palpatine dies. And the Death Star is blown up when all the good guys go in and they blow it up and they all leave and everybody's good to go. And Vader's like, take off my mask. I want to see you with my own eyes. And he's like, but you'll die. And he's like, I'm gonna die anyway. So he takes face off and he's a conehead. Looks like a conehead. And then everybody's good. Luke was on the Death Star still when they like triggered the reaction to blow it up. They very well could have killed Luke Skywalker. I don't think anybody asked if he'd gotten to safety yet. He hadn't. He was still there, very much in danger of getting blown up. But you know what? It's okay. I guess we just don't care all that much about Luke Skywalker. But yeah, they all throw a party, which, I mean, I feel like the Death Star blowing up would have destroyed Endor by virtue of how close it was. But you know what? Oh no, I'm stupid. Luke and Vader took a ship up to the Death Star. Am I really that dumb? I hope you didn't already comment about that, because I caught it. Shut up. But still, I feel like the Death Star blowing up should have taken out Endor too. But no, they throw a little party, and there's the Nub Nub song, Yub Nub, Yub Nub. But they took it out in the remasters and replaced it with a scene of all the other planets rejoicing at the collapse of the Empire. My thing, though, about this ending, the Empire wouldn't just collapse because you took out the two pillars. You know, like, if you were to kill Trump and Pence, America wouldn't just shut down. You know, there's still a third in charge, fourth, fifth, sixth in charge. It could, if it needed to, it could trickle all the way down to a private in the U.S. Army being president. You know, there's always a chain of command. There's going to be somebody that can step up and take the spot. And it would have been Tarkin if he were still alive, but it's not Tarkin, so whoever's in Tarkin's position now would take over the Empire. But whatever. For the purposes of Star Wars wrapping up in a neat little bow and the story being over and this being the farthest in the timeline they ever intended to go, it's a fine ending, I suppose. Now, I love the original trilogy. I put the entire original trilogy over the sequels that have come out since then, you know, episode 7 and 8 so far. But 6 is my least favorite. It's the one that's got the least going on for it. They realized that the movie was going to end too quick, so the good guys got captured by teddy bears, and this sequence lasted close to a half hour of them just being poked and prodded by Ewoks and then trying to gain their trust. And so much time was wasted on Endor that could have been spent on, you know, anything else in the movie. It's like George had a plan, but I mean, all he really did was recycle the first movie and then make up a whole bunch of filler to keep the movie from ending too quickly. Like, he didn't have enough idea for an entire film, and it shows when you're watching the movie. It's just not very well put together, and the ending still doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Also, Luke finds out that he and Leia are sisters, and he talks to her about it, and he's like, did you know? And she's like, somehow I always knew. And he's like, do you have memories of your mother? And she's like, yes, she died when I was very young, though. Padme died when Leia was like 17 seconds old. 17 seconds old is what I was trying to say. So her having any memory of her doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. You can say, oh, she's a Skywalker, so the Force is what connects them. Whatever. The Force has just become an excuse for bullshit to happen in these movies at this point. But let's rate this bad boy, right? Star Wars Episode 6 is worth buying on Blu-ray. I think that's fair to say. It's not great, but it's not awful either. It's enjoyable to watch if you skip the Ewok sequence. I don't hate the Ewoks. I just hate that scene because it breaks up the momentum of the movie so drastically, and it's so out of place. But Star Wars Episode 6, I'm sure you've seen it. Yeah. Tell me in the comments if I should do 1, 2, 3 next, or should I do 7 and 8 next, because I don't really know where to put Solo and Rogue One, but I mean, I gotta get to them at some point, so I feel like I should just do them in order of release, right? All that aside, though, because that's my problem, not yours, I'll see you very soon.